Hello, my name's Emil. I'm from Diablo subreddit, and we're here with
Joshua Mosqueira, lead designer of Diablo 3 console.
Excellent, and we're here for some questions about the Diablo 3 PlayStation version. So, first question: what are the main differences between the two versions?
That's a good question, and it's one of the reasons we're so excited to be here at PAX to get people to actually try it out. I think the big thing we want everybody to really understand is, when we're taking such a beloved game, the granddaddy of all action RPGs, and translating that experience, our goal is to make it feel native on the console. And I think the biggest change is the fact that you play with a controller, right? And the fact that you have direct control, so using the analog stick to actually, move your character across the screen. Every time you press the X button, the controller rumbles, and it really sort of feels that the very action gameplay aspect to the game is really important for us. Like, we really want this to feel like a legitimate console experience built from the ground up.
So, can you talk about the evade function a little bit?
Sure. So it's one of those things that, when we started thinking about how do we make this feel like it's been hand-built for the console, there's a rich tradition in console games, such as God of War, but even Zelda, to have a little sort of dodge mechanic or an evade mechanic. So we felt that, the legions of new console players are going to come to Diablo for the first time, that they're going to have a sort of an expectation, and they want to be able to do like an evade, we call it an evade, so a little dodge mechanic. But there's also a technical reason why we had an evade. So on PC, you have this great mouse and keyboard, and one of the things you have is you click on a point on the map, and your character will path there, right? On console, since we have direct control, the player's got to do all that work, right? So sometimes we need to give the player the ability to quickly reposition themselves, so they can, flip the stick in that direction, maybe drink a potion, and they're ready to get back into the fight.
So a lot of the skills in Diablo 3 require you to target specific monsters or specific areas. So with the Wizard's Blizzard, you have to choose a specific area to cast it. How does that transfer to the console version?
For the console, so every single skill in the game has been touched and retweaked to make sure it feels fantastic on the controller, right? So we have some targeting assists. So if there's a bunch of monsters coming down and you try to use Blizzard, we'll try to target those monsters, but we also give you we're still experimenting with the right way of sort of say, if you don't want to target those monsters, how you can sort of quickly reposition Blizzard. But again, it's really important for us to make sure we delivered an experience that allows the players to feel like they're always in control, right? So we have this saying around the office that our game's really about pick up and slay. So we want to make sure that by pressing the button, cool stuff is happening on screen, and the player really feels like they're the barbarian or the demon hunter.
So the big thing that was introduced in Diablo 3 was the auction house, and there was the gold and real money auction house. PlayStation version, what's the deal with that?
So right now there's no auction house on the PlayStation version, and one of the reasons for that is the fact that you'll be able to play offline, right? And that was a really big decision for us, and we did a lot of research, and we talked with Sony, and we discovered that the ecosystems between PC gaming and console gaming are very different. There's a significant number of consoles that are never connected to the internet. So to really sort of be able to offer a really awesome console experience for Diablo, we thought it was necessary for us to offer an offline mode.
Then the question on everyone's mind is that functionality ever going to come to the PC version?
So right now there's no plans to do that. Again, this is the decision that Blizzard spent a lot of time really making sure it was the right thing, and it took us a long time. We essentially had to re-architect the game from the ground up to allow us to have a offline version for console. So it's not like we could just flip a switch.
Okay, so now that there's going to be 2 or even 3 versions with the PS4 version whenever that releases, how's the development cycle and patching cycle going to work?
So to try to really keep in mind is that at Blizzard we really try to focus on one game at a time, right? So the console team didn't really start until the final stages of Diablo on PC, and so right now we're really focused on getting Diablo 3 onto the PlayStation 3. But Sony's been a really good partner, and they understand that one of the awesome aspects of a Blizzard game is the way we support it, right? They're really living products, really living games. So they're going to work very closely with us for us to be able to provide title updates and being able to provide that sort of same Blizzard experience and bring it to the console.
So, like for future patches, so like 1.0.8 or 1.0.9 down the road, is it going to be like developed for the PC version first and then kind of ported over? Or is it going to be launched at the same time?
It's a good question. We still need to figure out exactly how it's going to work, but our philosophy remains the same: is that focus first on PC. Make sure that we're patching the right things that we need to patch on PC, and then the console team, we're going to look at those patches and see, like, is that something that will help us make the console game better? If so, then we'll start discussing how do we start bringing that over to the console. But it's super important that the PC game is really sort of developed, and the focus is how to make it awesome on PC first and foremost.
Okay. Seeing as there's an expansion in the works, does the PS3 or PS4 development team have some sort of influence as to what's going to appear in the next expansion?
No, and again, it's really like there's that staggered development. It's like in many ways, the PC is the lead, right? And they're off and they're part of the building, cooking up really awesome stuff, and they're ahead of us. And right now we're focused on vanilla and bringing that over, and then once we get closer to the expansion, then we'll shift attention. But again, it's that leapfrogging, because it's really important that for both sides, we want the PC game to be what makes it fantastic on its own, and we want to make sure that they can do that on the console. We need to be able to make what changes we need to make an awesome console game. So they're different beasts.
So are there going to be the same internet services for the console version, like BattleNet profiles, or?
So there's no BattleNet integration. Again, Sony has the PlayStation Network, and a lot of the benefits of playing on BattleNet, we get the PlayStation Network. You get friends, you get trophies, which are their versions of achievements. You also get voice chat, which is something very cool to be able to play Diablo 3 console and being able to use voice chat.
So the PS4 version is also supposed to have a streaming capability. Are there plans to integrate that into the PS4 version?
So right now, again, we really have that sort of staggered. So right now, we're excited about eventually coming to the PlayStation 4. But our first job right now is making an awesome experience on the PlayStation 3, and then we'll have some further announcements on the PlayStation 4.
Are there plans for a demo or a beta for the console version?
Right now, stuff we're talking about, but right now I think we're still really focused on just trying to get everything ready for PS3.
So what challenges did you encounter when creating the console version that don't happen in the PC version? So obviously there's like the pathing, right, and the just place to click with the mouse where you don't have that with a PS3. Anything else major?
I think the thing we've spent the most amount of time on has been the interface, right? Because one of the things that's so important for us on the console is we didn't want to dumb it down, right? We didn't want to simplify the experience, right? I think the awesome magic of Diablo is the items you're getting and all the affixes and all the legendaries. So I thought it was really important for us to allow the players to streamline that experience. So when you played it on the show floor, it's the UI looks very different, right? And first of all, it's important that it feels good when you're playing it on the controller, and the grid-based paper doll works really well when you can actually point and click. But we went for a radial menu, and we sort of grouped all your items by category, and it's also important that the players have a streamlined access to the information. So at a glance, you can see all the items in your inventory. You can sort of do a very quick compare with the red arrows and the green arrows, and you can sort of make a first layer of decisions. And sometimes that's good enough, but sometimes you really want to know, hey, that has a bunch of green arrows with some red. I want to find out why. You press a square button, and then you can do a side by side, full-on comparison. You can go line by line and equip it. But I think one of the things we're really excited about for the interface is what we call the item queue, So when you're playing the game on console and you're picking up items in the world, right above your health bar in your HUD, all the items you're picking up show up in a list, right? And again, you'll see the green arrows and the red arrows. And if you press the up button on the D-pad, you can actually cycle through those items and equip them right there without having to necessarily go through your inventory. So again, it was important that players could decide how much detail they wanted and at what time.
So playing through the console version, I've kind of had a little bit of a difficulty keeping track of the health bar because I'm more used to like a health globe, and is the user interface still changing all the time?
It's gone through a number of revisions, and it will continue doing a number of revisions. I think one of the things we're missing right now is we need to add a bunch more what I like to call pixelization of the interface. It's just like right now it's very functional. We need to add something more to draw your attention to it.
Yeah.
But that's actually a really interesting observation you're making. Something that we find that when we're playing it and because your eye is so focused on your character now, because you're directly controlling the guy, that it's sometimes hard for you to keep track of your health because you're always looking at your character. So it really shows how even though it looks and in some ways feels like Diablo on the PC, the direct control really changes the experience and makes it different in a really cool way.
How are accounts going to work? Oh, okay. Just I guess last question. Are there like 10 max characters, like same as?
Oh, it's a great question. We've been talking about exactly how we're going to handle. I think we are going with 10 characters. See, but I mean,
that can all change.
It can change.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.